Hey, CD Bestie, this is Jesse McCartney. Check out my interview with Creativedisc.com, the number one music website in Indonesia.
What's happening, City Besties? This is Dundhee Yuwono for another episode of For Creative This exclusive interview. And today I am so excited to have a conversation with one of my idol back in my high school time. If you like me, you probably know him from Sis Know You, Leavin, or even Beautiful Soul. Who doesn't know that song, right? And he is now back with his latest EP called All's Well. And without further ado, the man himself, Jesse McCartney. Hey, Jesse, how are you doing, man?
Oh, Dundee, nice to see you, man.
I'm so stoked right now. I'm so stoked because, like I said before, you are my idol back in my high school. So, how is everything doing, man?
Everything's going great, man. I'm just getting ready to release an EP and go on tour.
Yes. So before we jump and talk about your music though, since you are already into music industry for more than 20 years now, what do you think about music these days, Jesse?
I think music's great. I think specifically pop music has evolved into something super fresh and
Yeah.
amazing. I feel like there's more talent now than even when I was younger. It seems like the singers keep getting better and better as the years go on,
Mhm.
um, and they keep getting younger and younger as they get better and better. So it's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great music out there right now, and it's exciting to watch these young stars take over.
So I'm just curious, what is the song that's currently on loop in Jesse McCartney playlist?
There's a song by Willow Smith called "Wait a Minute" that I really,
Okay.
really love.
Wow.
It's very, it's like it's. I feel like it's trending a lot on TikTok, but I just think it's a really fresh sounding song. And her vocals sound great.
Yeah. I totally agree because like a couple of months ago, it's become like trending songs on TikTok. But
Yeah.
speaking of music, Jesse, in today's music, people could make certain songs, right, go viral by using some part of the songs and create video out of it. Like sometimes it doesn't have to be a brand new song that can go viral. So what do you think about this phenomenon?
I mean, I think it's great for everybody involved. You know, I think that TikTok has obviously given writers and producers and artists an opportunity to show off their art. And it's
Mm.
great that it's sometimes, you see songs from 20, 30 years ago that suddenly
Yeah,
get a new life as a result. And I
yeah,
think it's great. I mean, for a lot of writers, it's how they make their living. So, it's a nice way for them to get credit and get paid for doing what they love. And we are using their art, right, to make
yep,
creative videos.
yep.
Um, in many ways, TikTok has really saved older songs. But I love TikTok, and I love making videos with my wife and adding fun viral sounds and using
Yeah,
older catalog music for
yeah.
those videos. I think it's great.
Yeah. Because I saw your TikTok also. You create a lot of content using like a lot of different songs and a lot of different videos in it, right?
Yeah. I've been, my wife is better than I am. She knows all the trending, everything that's going viral at any given time. So she's always got me hopping on different trends and using trending sounds and it's great. And I love to see these young artists thrive as a result of it.
Yeah. So speaking of writing music, Jesse, when you write your music today, is there like any urge to have a hit after a hit?
I mean, look, you always want your music to do well and you want people to receive it in a positive way. And, I think if you strive to get a hit every single time, you're doing yourself a disservice because you won't always be able to live up to that potential. It's just impossible. I think that you just have to make art to be creative and to make the best possible thing you can. And if it's good enough, the world will love it and share it, but you might let yourself down if you think that you're going to get a hit every single time. But of course, it's fun. And when it does happen, you really have to stop and smell the roses because it's a really nice moment.
That is true. And also that is a great message for young artists who happen to write a lot of music these days and still struggling to make a hit. Just from what I hear, you told us that enjoy the ride and keep creating, and then something will happen afterwards, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a young writer and you're starting out, you can't be discouraged by people who don't necessarily love the first thing you put out or don't love the first 10 things you put out. You know, sometimes you have to put out a ton of music in order for it to get listened to, in order for it to be heard. And I think a lot of times there's a pressure to make the first thing you put out be like the
Mhm,
perfect thing.
mhm.
But it takes years sometimes for people to understand what you're doing.
That is
And
true.
and also to shape your own sound. You know, a lot of times it takes, you know, if you look at Katy Perry is a great example of somebody who tried over and over and over again before I Kissed a Girl came out. And you know, she had many failed attempts before her first album blew up.
Mhm. So I'm curious though, Jesse. Is there any different when it comes to write music today compared to when you first releasing your music back then?
Are there any differences?
Yes. Is there any like differences?
I don't think there's any differences in the way I write the music, but certainly the way we release music. You know, I mean, I
Okay.
think now obviously we use social media. TikTok is a great example of a platform that we use to promote music and to help share music. Obviously, we have, you know, streaming platforms like Spotify and Amazon and Apple Music and all these places that now share music. And you know, back when I was a kid, we used to sell literally CDs, physical copies of albums, and you would have to go into a radio station and shake people's hands and sing your song live on the radio and
Mm.
do interviews face to face. There was no such thing as Zoom. You know, I would run around Los Angeles and do 25 meetings, and now I can do them all here in my house.
Yeah.
So much has changed, I think, in the way we sell music and the way we deliver music.
Mhm.
But the way music is written and created, I think fundamentally is still the same. You know, you still have to have a great idea, and you still have to have great musicians and you know, a great melody and lyrics, and you still have to put the time in to craft something first.
That is true. So when writes still the same, when it comes to your music changes, is there any changes that you feel different, that you feel growth regarding your music style or your music taste?
I mean, I think my style has stayed relatively in the same ballpark. I mean, I tend to go a little this way, a little that way, but it's usually in the same, I think, general scope of pop music. I really lean into soul music. I love, you know, singer-songwriters like the Bars and you know, Hall and Oates and Michael Jackson and Prince and all these, like, you know, soul music writers from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And I think that you know, the only thing that's really changed is my knowledge and that the things that I know now versus when I was 16, 17 and starting out in the industry. You know, I have more experiences. I've met more people at this point in my life. So I have a better understanding of how the world works. And I think it definitely helps with informed songwriting. You know more things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's jump into your new EP, your brand new EP, who's
Yeah.
that called All's Well, right?
Yeah.
Uh, this is your brand new EP after a while. Why now, Jesse? Why 2024?
Well, you know, I think the last thing I put out was 2 years ago, so it hasn't been that long. But you know, I had been working in the studio for about a year, and I had some great ideas written down. And I'm always creating, always every year I'm writing or doing something. Just because I don't put something out doesn't mean that I'm not writing music. But I think these songs felt like that they were good enough for me to put them out, and you know, they just felt really fun, and I loved all of the live instrumentation and how they sound. We played everything and produced everything live in the studio,
Mm,
from the rhythm section to the horns to the strings, so all of the instrumentation's live. And I just thought it was really fun for people to hear because you don't hear a lot of it in pop. Plus I wanted to tour again. I miss all my fans and I miss going out on the road and performing live, so I
yeah.
felt like I needed to put out some new music in order to do that.
Mm, that is true. So, tell us about this EP though. What is the inspiration? Is there like any message, big message that you need to tell to all of your fans though?
I think the big message mainly is it's not that big of a it's not that big of a message conceptually,
Mm.
but it's that my life is good. I'm doing well. I'm still making music.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a sort of you know a middle mid chapter of like the next this it feels like it's like I'm somewhere in between chapters right now in my life. I just got married 4 years or 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I'm thinking of maybe starting a family. So I'm like sort of enjoying my life right now, and it feels like the EP, this EP sort of represents that. It's fun, it's playful, and I feel
Uh-huh.
like all is well in my life. It kind of suits me.
Yeah, because I feel that you are so much having fun with the two songs before the EP was released, right? The first song was Fox Fur, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, and then the second one, Make a Baby, which also feature Young Gravy in it, right?
yeah.
So why did you decide to have these two singles before release the whole EP?
They just felt like that, I wanted to tease the fans and give them like a little bit at a time. There's only 5 songs on the EP, so I'm basically already giving them half of it. It's just it was a way for me to sort of slowly build the anticipation and get ready for
Mhm.
the live tour. And it just felt like these songs were, plus one of them was a feature, so I wanted to really milk that, and it was just a way to build anticipation. That's really it.
Mhm. And I do love those two songs because you kind of like put something similar, but also a lot of differences between all of those two songs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they each have something very special, and I think thematically and conceptually, they all talk about something a little bit different.
Mm.
There's a song on there called "The Well," which is a little bit darker and a little bit more of a ballad that talks about sort of mental health
Oh,
and your feelings and having somebody in your life to pull you out. Then you have songs like "Make a Baby," which are just super fun and up tempo and feel like a bop that you can play in the car driving to the beach.
yep, yep, that is true. So I believe that you also preparing for Allswell tour this April, and a couple of them is already sold out and selling so fast. So how's the preparation going with this tour?
It's going great. And yeah, the tour, we've already sold out 4 or 5 cities. And I think the set is going to be incredible. I'm in the middle of putting together the set list now, which is just a bunch of a lot of old music, a lot of new music, rearranging everything, producing it all, putting together my light show. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's what I love to do most is perform on stage more than any other part of this industry. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really hoping at some point to come down to Indonesia and see you guys. I've never been,
Please.
I've never been, and I really want to meet all the Indonesian fans. So
Please. That was my next question actually, because as an Indonesian fans and as a fans myself, I really want to see you live when perform in Indonesia, and I hope that we can see you in Indonesia within this year or perhaps next year. So my last question for you, Jesse, for today is any message to them, to your Indonesian fans who happen to follow you like from the beginning until now?
yeah, I would just say, thank you so much for your love and support, and it's so nice to know that I have fans around the world who I've never met. That sing my music for decades now and have been such great supporters. It's such an unbelievable feeling, and I'm just so sad that I haven't been there yet. So I'm gonna have to come see you guys either this year or next year, and come put on a show.
Yes, please. And thank you so much for spending time with me. And I have what is it like a big hope for you for this EP to be a blast and having so much fun during the tour. And I can wait to see you in Indonesia pretty soon, Jesse.
Thank you so much, Dundee. I appreciate that. I
So
look
that's
forward.
it. So that's it, City Bestie. My conversation with Jesse McCartney, and it's always a pleasure to meet him. And I hope that we can see him live in some festival or some concert in Indonesia. So my interview with Jesse McCartney is already finished. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next Creative Disc exclusive interview. Bye bye.